Hello, everybody. Hello. How y'all doing? If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell. I really do appreciate that because I do get a lot of new people that watch live streams on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, there's like different links for different things in different categories, and one of them is going on looking at different live streams. Give me a thumbs up, video, super chats, help the channel, and they're also appreciated as well. And share this video with your friends and family. And once again, my social media, that's all linked in the description below this live stream. All my social media is on there as well. So, how y'all doing? Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? So let's get started. So Wendy Williams, she spoke out. I watched this via Chronicle Speaks. She's a YouTuber, and she was one of the first people to attain a video. According to her, Wendy's someone from Wendy's team sent her the video, but also the Shade Room got the video as well. So I'm assuming that just Wendy's team is sending videos to different bloggers who have a large following and stuff. Wendy Williams' brother first interview was with Chronicle Speaks, when he just came out and tried to get his 15 minutes of fame. So she got that video, and good kudos to her for getting an exclusive from the team and everything. So I saw the video, and based on watching the video, it does appear to see that Wendy Williams is still in the same state of mind that she's always been, even when she hosted the show. I noticed that she got her age wrong in the video. She's not 56. She's 57 years old. I've always thought that there was something there in terms of, she said in the video, you go through things and everyone is weird in their own way. Yes, that's correct. But 57 years old is still virtually young for you to be slurring your words and for you to be highly forgetful. She's in my view, she's basically the same person that she was when she was hosting the show. The questions also looked prepared. When I was watching the video, I'm assuming that's her son because she called him Kevin. Well, first she said Kevin, and then she stated him in a third person. So the video does seem prepared with the questions. So I don't know if they probably just kind of went over the questions for her, and so when they turn on the camera, she'll be prepared to answer. But those questions were really simple that a 10-year-old can answer. But so her state of mind to me is the same as it was, or the way she was answering was the same as it appears to be when she hosted the Wendy Williams show. I don't think she's fully there. I still don't think she's fully there. She wasn't fully there when she was hosting the show. I did tell you guys that I did interview somebody that is linked to Wendy, but I did not release the video. And this person actually was on the Wendy show. And when they were doing a segment together, it was clear that Wendy was not there. And I did promise this person that I'm not going to release the video because the whole point of the interview was for me to talk about this person's venture, right? That they're trying to promote for themselves. So they called me up afterwards, and I was like, you know what, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not going to release the video. So it's pretty evident that she's not fully there. She's not fully there, but she is competent enough to answer basic questions on camera. She was never fully there when she was hosting the Wendy Williams show. It's very clear, this for years. This is why Norman is on the front ends and is helping Wendy, because she just needs help with doing the show. If you've been a Wendy Williams fan, you would realize that watching Wendy Williams earlier on in her TV show career, she would have notes on her side, right? And she would read the notes. They didn't really do the teleprompter. She would have the notes, right, on her desk as she does the show. But now she has a teleprompter, and she also has Norman Baker, the producer, who's on camera, who helps her with the show. She said she's coming back to her show. So she'll do you out of luck if she does come back. I've always said I don't see her coming back to the Wendy show, but I've always said I see her coming back in a different way, because if you are a Wendy fan, she always said that she's not going to be kicked out of her show. She's going to leave on her own terms. So according to her, she's going to come back to the Wendy Williams show. We'll see. I mean, we all know as well that Wendy says a lot of things that she doesn't give promises to. So we're going to see if she can actually comes back. In terms of Sherri Shepherd, in terms of Miss Sherri Shepherd, I don't think Debmont Mercury is going to let her go. I think possibly that they'll try her out if Wendy does come back. And so Sherri Shepherd can not only get her own show, but also give the opportunity to show people that she can have her own show, right? Because a lot of people, including executives, told Sherri Shepherd that she will not be able to have her own show because it's like, you know, either she doesn't have the look or she's not interesting enough or, you know, something of that nature. So Sherri, I don't know if you're going to have the Wendy show. Based on what Wendy is saying, she says she's coming back. Do I believe Wendy? No, but I'm only going to believe it when I see it. So I've watched the host this week. The people that are hosting this week are Terrence J. He used to be on 106 in Park. And of course, I know Bevy Smith. You know, me and her had our little thing going on, but I didn't really like them hosting, to be honest with you. It was okay. Like I said, Terrence J was on 106 in Park. He co-hosted with Roxy Diaz, and Roxy's actually from my area. She went to school. She went to West Jefferson High School. She's from Louisiana, not too far from me. The woman that hosted 106 in Park. But I really didn't like it. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't Wendy. It's not within the Wendy's brand. They gave me Entertainment Tonight, E! News, you know, type of commentary. Clearly, Terrence J is the people that attends the Hollywood parties, along with Bevy Smith. But Bevy Smith gave a little shade here and there. Terrence J obviously didn't. He called Future a good father. I don't know a person with 8 baby mothers and 8 different kids with 8 baby mothers to be a good father. I don't. That's not a good father to me. So yeah, it's all right. I watched the first show, right? I watched most of it, but I got through the Hot Topics, and then I watched the second day, and I only watched the Hot Topics part, right? So, you know, nobody's really doing well with hosting Wendy. I mean, the only person. Actually, nobody. It's really nobody. Nobody is like, this is a Wendy show. This is why Wendy needs to come back, because there are so many polished hosts and there's only one Wendy. This is why we have yet to have a host that is not afraid to come on, you know, the camera and actually talk as if they are at a kitchen table without cameras. So there's no host out there that is on Wendy's level, right? Now, if they put me on there, I'm definitely going to speak my mind, you know, but that's nor here nor there because, you know, that ain't going to happen. But at least not now. But it's like no host has come up to the Wendy's way. You see what I mean? We haven't had that. So this is why Wendy's clearly not replaceable, clearly, because, you know, everybody's replaceable, right? But in terms of the Wendy show, this is the first show that's on a mainstream platform that, you know, is not as polished, or the production isn't as 100% polished. It's sort of a mess. And that's what a lot of people like about the Wendy show, because it's just what it is, you know? And so I wish her well. Watching the video with her son videoing it, her state of mind from that video to me is the same state of mind as she was when she was on air. Which also gives me a question as to why she is not there to begin with, why she's not hosting her show. Of course, there's various rumors out there with the poo-poo shot, with her taking out her implants to her mental mind, to her Graves' disease. And I don't think, you know, her team, this is a new thing. The new thing nowadays is to blame it on the Rona, or with Wendy's case, is to blame it on her Graves and thyroid problems. I mean, she also used the Rona as well, right? So I never believe anything her PR team puts out, right? I don't. It's kind of like how Adele kind of came out and blamed the Rona over her production. And I was like, okay, that's a new PR thing for these celebrities to come out and say, hey, you know, my team has the Rona and we haven't, you know, had time to prepare. I'm like, girl, no. You know, Adele just got dickmatized. That's what it was, right? The man she was with, his peen was probably that small, and the man that she's with now is probably that big. And so she got dickmatized, you know? And that's what it was. and allegedly, and it wasn't because of the wrong. It was because, like, it was one of them people that just want to be loved. So, anyways, Wendy, I wish you well. I like Bevy Smith, of course, and I like Terrence J. But it's very Entertainment Tonight, and it's very E! News, and they're not for that show. They're not for Wendy, right? They're not for Wendy at all. I would also say another thing, because a lot of y'all think just because I'm critical about a celebrity, that does not mean I don't like them. Just because I'm critical of Whoopi Goldberg, that don't mean that I don't like the person. Just because as a person, I'm just saying how I feel about the situation. It's kind of like tasting your first dish at a restaurant, right? You may like the restaurant, but you're like, man, maybe this dish ain't for me, right? Or you see what I mean? So it's like nowadays, it's like if you like somebody, you got to be biased and you got to like say good things about them. No, I could like somebody and criticize how I feel about like what she, So I just want to put that out there, right? So it's sad to report that Michele Tafoya will not be the host, the co-host, the Republican host of The View. And I got mad. I got so pissed off. I was like, damn. Because she's literally the only person. Now, we're talking about testing hosts, right? She is the only host. Now, I just said nobody was good like Wendy, right? But for The View situation, she was the perfect person to be in that seat, right? Representing the Republican chair, and I liked her, and I like Condoleezza Rice, of course, but she's not gonna get the job. But Michele Tafoya, and this is a woman who is not known, right, to like on a national scale. She's a sideline reporter. A lot of sideline reporters, they're not known. I mean, yes, they're on camera, but they're not really. They're kind of like, they're not really targeted to a lot of people. So I got upset, and I already knew she wasn't going to host because I talked about this about a month ago. Because I told you guys that she has a husband. She has 2 kids. One of her kids is adopted, that she talked about on The View, and she wants to stay in Minnesota. And I was so mad. I was like, why? Why can't you host? So reportedly, she quit NBC as a sideline reporter, and Michele Tafoya made it known that she quit on her own terms. Because there were rumors by actual even journalists, or people who call themselves journalists, who are saying that she left NBC because of her appearance on The View. She's been with NBC, or she's been with ESPN, NBC, the sports world for about 30 years, and she made it known that no, she left on her own terms, that NBC actual gave her the word, hey, if you want to come back anytime, come back anytime you want. So she's actually going to enter politics, but she's going to be behind the scenes. She's working on trying to get a Minnesota Republican be nominated as a GOP. His name is Kendall Qualls. He's a businessman and a Army veteran, y'all, and he's also a brother. He a brother, y'all. So that's gonna come a shock to y'all. Okay, he a brother. That's Kendall Qualls. He's the Republican forerunner that wants to be the GOP nominee. And at the moment, Minnesota has is ran under a Democrat, and he's also running again. His name is Tim Walz, right? And that's the Democrat that's running, right? He's the one that's appointed at the moment. So she's helping this guy with his campaign, and he's excited to have her on the campaign. However, like, I wanted her to be on The View, right? I wanted her to be on The View. That just was I just like her. It's not because I agree. Oh, wait, hold on. That's next story. Sorry, that's the next story. It's not because I agreed with her. It's because, like, I just like hearing a different perspective, because we have all the hosts agree on everything. And I just was like, it's very, I've always been someone that liked to hear, a different point of view. And I like the fact that she brought something differently. It's not the fact that I agreed with her per se, just because it's like there's no damn chewing popcorn watching a show when everybody agrees on everything, right? And I need some type of boost, and kind of like excitement in watching the show. And what brings excitement to me is when you have someone with a different perspective when they talk about whatever is going on politically. And yes, the show was not made politically, like it was just about a woman talking about the world and themselves and pop culture and whatever, but now it's political, right? And so they need to bring someone else differently. The girl that was on today was not a favorite by a lot of people who watched the show because she tried to bring on a different perspective. I felt like I only watched parts of the show, but the clips that I saw, I felt like they didn't let her talk. They didn't let the girl talk at all. They didn't let her talk. They were talking about whether or not if a establishment that sells rifles should be sued, right? Should they be held responsible for someone else's if they decide to use their product for a harmful situation? I'm trying to be careful with my words because, you know, YouTube and there's censorship and everything. And I actually agree. I agreed on the Republican perspective, where I don't feel like someone should get in trouble if they buy a rifle from me. I should not get in trouble just because they're going out and doing something with that rifle. That's, you know, I don't agree with that at all. First of all, I don't like rifles at all, and I don't like guns. But it's kind of like if you go to an Arab store, right, and one of my people sell you a Bud Light, right, and you go in the car, you drink that Bud Light, and you end up doing a Caitlyn Jenner and hitting somebody, and that person passed away. Should that Arab owner be responsible for selling you their product, and then you did what you did? No, it should not, right? So. And I'm tired. This is the left perspective that I don't agree with. Like, they like to get government involved and like to make everything regulated, and I disagree with that. So same thing with Facebook. It's like they want to control social media. It's like, and they want to basically regulate different situations. For example, like Facebook, a lot of people make money off of Facebook. A lot of people, they have these marketing agencies with Facebook to where they help real estate, they help dentists, they help a lot of these different genres of businesses to get their name out there through marketing. And a lot of these ads on Facebook are super cheap compared to like radio and television ads, right? And so people make money off of this. Like the marketing agency, they may be an expert at ads on Facebook. And so they charge somebody a retainer, a business, every month, a certain amount of money every month called a retainer. And you know, you're paying $5 to $10 a day to people on Facebook. And so it's like, now people just want to take that over, right? Like for real estate on Facebook, if you wanted to do a target audience on real estate, it used to be so dang like on point, to the point where you can target someone based on their income, their zip code, what they do for a living, not what they do for a living, but definitely the zip code and their income level. And Facebook had to take that off because government got involved and they saw that as discrimination. I don't agree with that. I understand when you apply for a job and you put your address on your resume that there's probably a chance they're like, oh no, he lives there, I'm not gonna hire him. Which is the reason why I don't put my address on my resume, right? Because a lot of these employers, they judge you. But to sit there and to kind of like have Facebook take that off of their advertising, to me, that's like, no. Like, come on now. Like, come on. Like, really? Like, if I am a real estate agent and I have a Facebook ad specialist working with me, I would want someone that got money, that makes a certain amount of money, and that are in a certain zip code to either buy or sell their house. You see what I mean? Like, why would, like, this is where I don't like when government gets involved. I guess this is my conservative part. Like, I don't like that. It's like, no, like, I'm the owner of this rifle establishment. This person is legally allowed to buy a rifle and I sell it to you. Or let's say I'm selling you a Four Loko or some type of, I don't know, Grey Goose or whatever. And then you decide to go out and do what you want to do. I should not be held responsible. I shouldn't be held responsible. Of course, she brought up abortion laws in Texas and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't. Now, I'm not selling, I wouldn't, if I had a business, I'm not selling a rifle and I'm not selling alcohol because I don't drink, but I'm saying that other businesses that do these things should not suffer under the hands of some stupid radicalized person. Like the example with Sandy Hook. First of all, the guy who did it, I think he was in Harvard, right? Or MIT. He was at some Ivy League school and he was radicalized by his older brother, right? So it's not the gun owner's fault. It's the fact that he was brainwashed, right, by his older brother to hate Americans, allegedly, right? And to do what you got to do, right? This boy was in college. He like was a normal, I think he was from Russia. He was a Russian Muslim. This was a normal college student that allegedly got radicalized by his own brother, got brainwashed, and that's what happened. It's not the owner's fault of where they got the rifle from. It's the human's fault, right? It's kind of like how Rottweilers and pit bulls get a bad name, right? It's like, oh no, they're aggressive. No, those animals aren't aggressive. It's the person who it's the human that made that animal like that, right? Like Rottweilers and German Shepherds or Dobermans, and those animals are not aggressive when they're born. It's how you raise them, right? And it's the same thing with these damn human beings, right? A lot of these people don't have home training. It all comes down to what? Parenting, right? And parenting nowadays is non-existent, right? So that's what it is. So don't regulate companies just because you feel like it's not safe out here. It's not a business owner's fault for what goes on in the streets of the United States of America. So, but anyways, good luck to her. She's working, like I said, with Kenneth Claus. He's running he's a Republican. He wants to be governor of Minnesota. And so he's hoping that, with her expertise in media, that she will help him beat a runnery in the election in Minnesota. I wish she was on The View, because I liked her, because she brought a different perspective. And I didn't agree with everything, but I just like the fact that she brought a different perspective. And I'm just tired of all the hosts agreeing on everything. I still enjoy it, but it's not as enjoyable as when they had, a different perspective on it. It's kind of like how I like Sherry Shepherd hosting the show, and I would watch her, but it's not the same as Wendy Williams hosting the show, right? There's no excitement to it. And so good luck to you, Michele Tafoya. I wish you well. So a lot of people were talking about Joy Behar and Sarah Haynes clashing on The View yesterday. Like E! News picked it up, and a lot of blogs were talking about it, and one of my subscribers mentioned it to me, and they were playing around. Like Joy Behar, told her don't touch me. They were playing around, and Joy Behar always do that. She told Sarah Haynes, don't touch my hair when they were coming back. When they first came back to the studio, when Meghan McCain left the show and they first came back. That's just Joy Behar. She's just like that. I didn't see a point in doing a video on that, because I was like, that's just who she is. Why are they talking about that and making it something big as it is? So no, they were just playing around when she called her a B word. She called her the B word, right? And it's like a lot of people use that B word just like they use the N word as kind of like, like that, So it's like this is Joy Behar playing around. Now, in terms of the seat on The View, like I said, since Michele Tafoya is gone, and reports were saying that The View is struggling to hire a Republican on the show. And I do believe that. They are struggling, because if you do recall, Sunny Hostin did an interview with The Cut, and one of the reporters, his name is Evan Ross from The Cut, asked Sunny, what does the Republican got to bring to the table, the new person? And they're pinpointing how they want a conservative to be. And that's not right. It's not like we're not pinpointing who takes the Democratic seat. So why should a conservative be pinpointed, right? Why they got to fit a certain criteria? So the anti-Rona or the anti-VACCINE was one of them, right? The January 6th, you can't say move on, or you can't question January 6th, or you can't say that you got to say, well, it was wrong. You see what I mean? You can't do a Condoleezza Rice and say it was wrong, but let's move on. And it's like, you can't just pinpoint a conservative of who you want on the show. And this is why they're having trouble for finding an actual conservative host, because they're picking and choosing who they want as a conservative. And it's like, that's not fair. That's not right. It's already unfair that there's only one seat on that show, and there's four liberals on that show. And it's even more unfair when you're trying to pinpoint what conservative you want on the show, right? And so I like Michele Tafoya. Like I said, she was my favorite. There was a woman that was supposed to be on The View, according to reports. But situations happen. I know Kayleigh McEnany auditioned for the show, but there was a recent woman about a month or so ago that was supposed to be on The View. Her name is Lisa Marie. She did a show with Dan Bongino, the guy from Fox News. He used to work with Obama too. I think he used to be the Secret Service person for Obama. And she actually the poo-poo shot on Twitter, and she stated her point of view on his show about the poo-poo shot. That's why she's not in studio. You see her right here. She's at home in Miami, but I think she has that's the green screen she's using. And she did not take the poo-poo shot. Good for her. I agree with that. And she stated her anti-this poo-poo shot on Twitter. So The View saw that, and they said no. They're going to test her out, allegedly, and they cut her out. They said no. The second person who's a libertarian who's on Fox News, this person's on Fox News on The Five, I believe, with Greg Gutfeld. Her name is Kat Timpf. They were going to try her out. She said no, allegedly, because she doesn't like how they treat conservatives on the show, allegedly. That was according to reports. And the second reason why she said it, because she's still contractually obligated to Fox News, and she likes it at Fox, right? So she don't want to be at The View because she's tied to a job at Fox, and also because she says, well, they have a bad history of how they treat conservatives. So she said no. But this woman, like I said, she wanted the job, or allegedly was going to get the job, and until The View saw her, you see what I mean? They saw her perspective on the Rona-vax, and they're like, nah, yeah, we can't have someone that thinks like that. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like, I would like someone on the show. This is what Michele Tafoya brought to The View. She brought that to that show. She's like, I have a relative that didn't take the poo-poo shot, and the doctors were testing his antibodies, right? And he's okay. He is fine. Same thing with Jared Iabila. Wait, not him. Same thing with Jared Iabila. Jared Iabila said the same thing, right? And it's like they really just went off on her, and they set her up because they did a preliminary interview. They did a pre-interview before they went on TV, and they knew her perspective. They knew it. They knew what she felt. Hell, she's very open. She's very open-minded about how she feels. If you go follow her on Twitter, you would know. And the hosts all follow her on Twitter, so they knew the way she felt on Twitter and her perspective towards it. And she even went. The ABC even went to her house allegedly and tested Jared Iabila for the Rona, and she came out negative. And right when it was close to her date to come on the show, she said that ABC changed their policies and said, no, you got to do it online. You can't come in and do it. So this is what I'm talking about, y'all. It's like this corporate stuff. They want to analyze and criterionize who should be in that seat, and that's not fair. That's the definition of propaganda. You can't do that. That's not right. What I liked about Michele Tafoya is because she basically was talking like the average American was talking. I went to Walmart, y'all, and I bought me some stuff today. And I went without a mask. And I was talking to this black chick, right? And I was like, girl, I ain't give a damn about this COVID since day one. You see me, I'm walking here without a damn mask. Like, I don't care. Like, the average American speaks that way. And we need somebody on the show that speaks that way, but they don't want that. They want a narrative, and they want to sell that narrative that you have to still wear that damn cloth around your nose, and you got to take a poo-poo shot in order to get well, when we all know when you take the poo-poo shot, you can still get it and you can still transmit it. But they don't want that on the show. And this is what makes me just like start to have a dislike, because of that. It's very propaganda. Like we need somebody that speaks the way I speak, or the person at the store, right? Like, nah, come on now. Like, we still having Mardi Gras. They setting up for Mardi Gras, building up damn floats. Traffic is going to be crazy within now to the next month, which I don't like. And we're going to have Mardi Gras when literally New Orleans, they make lots of money. One of the industries they rely on is tourism, and they also rely on hospitality with the hotels and everything. It's like Mardi Gras brings both of those things. They bring tourists here, and a lot of those tourists, they want to be in hotels, right? So that's money, right? And so it's like, how are you going to have a mandate in New Orleans, but also do Mardi Gras when you have people from Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, all over the world, possibly even outside the United States, coming to New Orleans, right? And a lot of these places don't even have mandates. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. It does not make sense at all. It really doesn't. So it's like, we need someone that speaks that way on the show. And so, unfortunately, Michele Tafoya is not going to be on. I wish she was, because that's one thing I agree with her on about that, when she was talking about the antibodies and people should have a choice. I agree. That's one thing I agree with. People should have a choice, right? By the way, New Orleans may have these mandates, But I'm walking in these restaurants picking up food yesterday, and none of them asked me for my card. I mean, I had a mask on because I didn't want to be reported or whatever, because I'm doing a little driving app, delivering food, whatever. A lot of Karens and Kens, they may, oh, he's not wearing a mask. Can you report him to the app so he can get deactivated? So I wear it, whatever. But you're supposed to ask for a card as well, and a lot of these restaurants aren't doing their job, and I'm not mad at them because it's definitely barbarian like to do that in the United States of America. But anyways, so good luck to you, Michele Tafoya. And apparently Meghan McCain is hard to be replaced, and they're not going to find a replacement host anytime soon because it's difficult. It's highly difficult, right? All right. Let me read y'all comments before I go on to the next topic. Once again, super chats is highly appreciated. Super chats, like it's linked above. It is highly appreciated. Let me read y'all comments before I go on to the next story. I actually missed y'all. I really do miss y'all. Wendy's gone. Yeah, she has the breasts. I don't know who that is, Thina. Why do you like Wendy so much? I like Wendy so much because I respect her hustle and her drive. I like her work ethic, and because she is different, and brought her own different perspective and into entertainment and paved the way for a lot of people to be comfortable. Like she is the first person. Like, if you want to honor somebody that for this Black History Month, I think she should be honored because it's like she's the reason why People Magazine have a gossip column. She's the reason why all of these bloggers and TV shows now, they gossip and stuff because she brought that. She brought that to television and radio and everything. So that's why I like her. I like her because I like her work ethic. She had a dream. And if you watch her on YouTube, if you type in on YouTube, my first big break, and type in Wendy Williams, that's why I like her. She talked about, she had a dream, and I like her hustle. And I like that she tried to keep it real, and I like that, so she's not like these polished. Everybody is like the same way, and there's only a handful of Wendy's out there. You got your Howard Stern. Well, Howard Stern changed. He went to Hollywood. He went corporate, but you have the Joe Rogans, you have the Wendy Williams, you have Howard Stern, Charlamagne the God. I like to put myself on that list, but I'm not successful to that point yet. You have the JOA, you have these. I like people who are not who speaks like the average American and is not succumb to what corporate media wants you to say, and that's what Wendy's bring to the table. Yes, she changed. She got a little bit of media training and changed for television because of, FCC and stuff like that. But, she still brings that perspective that she used to do on the radio. No, Michele Tafoya is not going to The View because she wants to be with her family and she wants to work on a local level. And I'm not even sure if The View even offered her the job, but so Alyssa Farah, no, I don't know. Yeah, she's working with a right winger. I showed you who he is. He's an African American man, Kendall Qualls. I mean, there's nothing wrong with working with a Republican, right? So good luck to her. Let's see. All right, Baxter. I hope everything's okay. Michelle isn't qualified. Joy Behar is not qualified. Whoopi Goldberg is not qualified. Who else is on that show? The only person is qualified there's no qualified person on that show. I mean, literally, if you look at interviews with a podcast that Brian Theda did with even Whoopi, he even said that a lot of people complain about what you guys say, but you guys aren't really political scientists, political analysts or anything. You guys have jobs in other fields. No one is really qualified on the show. The only two people that is seemingly qualified would be Sarah Haynes because she has a government degree, and Anna Navarro because she worked in politics, right? The other girls aren't really qualified. They just have opinions as American citizens. So you're leaving, Donna, because I disagreed with you on something. I don't even know what you're leaving on. Okay, but all right, whatever. Let's see. So the next thing I want to talk about is so there's a lot of drama going on with CNN at the moment, and this guy, he's scared. The guy, this man is like 36 years old. He look like Dr. Phil's son. Okay, this man is 36 years old. I don't understand this man, because it's like, how can you have a show on CNN called Reliable Sources, and when you're literally dogging out your ex-colleagues at CNN? That's just, to me, that doesn't make sense. It's like you're supposed to, I thought CNN is supposed to be a news network. I thought it's supposed to be about journalism, and you have a man named Brian Stetler literally having a show like bashing his former boss, Jeff Zucker, and bashing Chris Cuomo. Now, do I care for these people? No, but still, like, come on, journalism. Come on. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, before even Jeff Zucker allegedly got fired, like, you went on Stephen Colbert and talked about Chris Cuomo when he got fired, right? So now when Jeff Zucker is being forcibly fired, allegedly, right? Now you're talking trash about him on your show. It's like, this is why people CNN, and it's very unfortunate that people still use CNN as a source. Like, baby, I remember when I was working at Pizza Hut, okay, 10 years ago, and one of my managers was like, wait, I thought, don't Muslims get married to their siblings? I'm like, what? I'm like, where you got that from? He was like, CNN. This was 10 years ago, right? And I literally laughed. I'm like, you got that from CNN? CNN is your source? And I started laughing. Like, I knew CNN was BS since like years back. So it's like, I just don't understand, how can that be journalism when it's CNN, cable news network, and you have a man, a lot of people saying he's next. A lot of people saying he's gonna go too, okay? So basically, Chris Cuomo testified, right? It's like a 5-hour and 30-minute interview. Well, it's not an interview, but he's testifying in court, and the lawyer's asking him questions. So I guess you can say an interview, but about his involvement with his brother, and helping out his brother, aiding his brother out with his scandal that he obviously did, allegedly. And he's also allegedly, I heard, showing the network, and also saying that he knows some stuff about Jeff Zucker, the former president, and just everything that's criminal at that network. And I personally believe that he got fired because of what Chris Cuomo would say. It's not because of the girlfriend. It's not because of the girl, his side chick that he was with while he was married. Her. It's not because of her. She's part of the reason why that Jeff Zucker got fired, but also because Jeff Zucker and Chris Cuomo was apparently close, because, if you are Jeff Zucker and you're dating a subordinate who used to work for Chris Cuomo's brother, now you have 3 entanglements with 3 people who highly profile positions at a network. And it's like, you got to go, as he should. And I don't know if y'all recall me saying that she's going to leave. She actually left yesterday, right? There was a statement yesterday saying that she left CNN. I told y'all, if Jason Kilar, the owner of CNN, was smart enough, he would kick her out too. If he wants some sort of credibility left at that network, he would kick her out. As she got, now she's no longer there. Didn't I tell y'all when I did a live stream last week? I'm like, yeah, in a sense, she would have to leave as well, right? She and him was allegedly hooking up, smashing together while they both were married, right? But according to Jason Kilar, who's the owner of CNN, while Chris Cuomo was going through what he was going through and was about to get fired, the owner of CNN approached Jeff Zucker and said, what is your relationship with this woman? And he would not disclose that relationship. So that's what the statement is as to why he's being resigned. But there's more to it. There's more to the story. It's not just because of her. There's more to the story. Okay. Another report came out that Chris Cuomo allegedly invited a woman who's being named Jane Doe. She's anonymous, to lunch, right? And he wanted to talk to her about whatever, right? I guess about work and CNN and everything, whatever. And he actually was trying to follow the destiny of the reason as to why his brother got fired from being governor. And the girl denied. The girl was like, she's not interested in him like that. She didn't want to do that. And so he allegedly, I don't want to use, because I can't use certain words on here, but he allegedly like fought with her because she denied him. She denied his advances on her, right? And so during the whole Charlie Rose from CBS that got fired allegedly for, you know, doing it with the females, during the whole Charlie Rose situation, the Matt Lauer situation, Chris Cuomo, the man that likes to say he's a lawyer, got in touch with the woman that he allegedly thrown himself onto and got in contact with her and say, hey, you're not going to come forward and talk about this? Because at that time, Matt Lauer was trending and got fired. And Charlie Rose, who used to be an anchor journalist on CBS, and he got fired. And so Chris Cuomo did what he always did and contacted his victims, allegedly, and said, hey, you're not going to come forward. He did the same thing to his former boss. Remember the email, Michele Ross? He groped her on the butt. And the husband was there. They were outside at some event, and the husband saw it. And Chris Cuomo emailed the husband and said, hey, like, it was just a grope. The actor Christian Slater had a worse incident, and he got legally litigated for that. And what my situation was very minor, so I really don't see a litigation going on here. I apologize. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Yeah, he's. I told y'all this man is sick. Didn't I tell you that? I told y'all that last year, and y'all got on me for why are you attacking Chris Cuomo? He's a Democrat. He's on CNN. No, he's a douchebag, just like his brother, you know. But y'all got on me, and look what comes out. And I also want to tell y'all, last year I said there's information about that network that I know about, and I could have lied and said it was about this situation, but it's not about this situation. It's something else. Reportedly, there's like thousands of documents that were anti-journalism from Jeff Zucker, Chris Cuomo, at that network, and I really want to know what's in those documents. But the information I know, I'm probably going to go on my grave with that information, unless I write a book when I'm done with my career. But yeah. So the information about Jeff Zucker and Allison Golis is not what I know. It's about something else about that network. But yeah, that's just the whole situation on that. He's just like his brother. The apple don't fall from the tree, between them two. I just don't like people when they are at a high profile position and they literally feel like they can take advantage of someone lower than them. Just because, I can help you. I can help you. If you lie on a casting couch with me and do what and obey me and be submissive, I can help you get a long lasting career. Because the girl that Chris Cuomo allegedly got mad and literally thrown himself at her, was like, I can help you get a job, like a permanent job at CNN, allegedly. So I just don't get these people. I really don't. I've personally seen harassment in the workplace, working at different jobs. It does exist. It definitely is there. Luckily, I'm happy that the girl's name is not out there to protect herself in the media and everything. So they're calling her Jane Doe. But yeah, he's sick. He is sick, just like his brother, Andrew. And I hope he rots in hell. I really do. So yeah, Allison Golis is gone. She is fired, and I'm happy. Like, it just really don't make sense because, this man right here was married to his wife. They got married in 1996. They were married for about 20 years, literally half of their marriage. He was spending time with this woman, right? And they were shacking up, allegedly, right? But in the media, they put out a statement saying they had a relationship since COVID. No, baby, you didn't have a relationship since COVID. Y'all was shacking up since about 2012, okay? Probably 2010, allegedly, right? And so Katie Couric wrote in her book, Katie Couric spilled the tea. She wrote in her book that this one and Jeff Zucker literally was at the hip, like they were always together. This man was the president of NBC, and he got fired, okay? I have even someone who I, commentate and, kind of we message each other and stuff. that was the boss that used to work at NBC, like at a big job at NBC, and told me, yes, this man was my boss. And yes, he got fired at NBC. He brought over Alison Gullis at NBC at a position that was already filled by someone else. So he just brought her over and gave her a job, making a salary so she can be close to him. And they both were married, right? They both were married, right? And then when he left CNN in 2014 and got hired as a president, when he left NBC in 2014 and got hired as a president at CNN, he brought her to CNN. And she had this big job in marketing at CNN. And this is what I don't get. How can you be, and this is probably a rhetorical question, how can you get fired as a president at a huge network and get hired at a different network with the same title? And I asked this person who's a person of, and they were like, because he is WHITE, his privilege. And I agree with that, his privilege. Because that don't make sense. If I fire you, it just does not make sense. Like, this isn't just a job at McDonald's or Burger King, and you got fired at Burger King, right? And then now you want to go at McDonald's and make burgers. Like, this is a job that is, in my opinion, equivalent to being a doctor and a lawyer, right? Like, you effed up at one network, you should not be hired, because it's like people are watching this show to get their news, to get what's going on in the world, and they're viewing these networks as credible. I don't, but you guys do. Y'all view these networks as credible information, right? And it's like, here you have a president who got fired from one and now is being rehired at one with title. It's like, that's dangerous. That's highly dangerous. That really is. It's dangerous. It's crazy. It just, to me, I just can't really fathom that in my mind, how you get fired at one and get rehired at one with the same title. So, you know, the person who hired him, the owner of CNN, should be off the air as well. But I just don't understand. I just don't get, I don't, can someone explain that to me? I just don't get how you can be fired and rehired with the same title on a different network. That's highly dangerous. That's dangerous. So Jamie Lynn Spears is coming back to the entertainment business. She's starting a podcast. And first of all, I was watching Wendy, and they were talking about it. Well, I was watching Bevy Smith and Terrence J, and they talked about Jamie Lynn having a podcast, and Bevy Smith said, who isn't? Like, who don't have a podcast nowadays? And I kind of felt like she was shading me, because she has a radio show. And before I got on and I called her radio show, she also goes on Instagram Live while she's filming her radio show. And I typed in Instagram Live. I talked about this and I told y'all, I was like, did Wendy Williams give you an approval to host her show? And then, what's her name? What's his name? Morel Hollis was doing her makeup. That's Wendy's makeup artist. It's a six-week sneak peek. And he was on Instagram Live, and she read my comment, and Morel was like, ooh, like, you know, he was like, oh, the shade. And she was like, oh, I'm Bevy Smith, right? And then so I called into her radio show to ask her, like, you know, a different question, because she does these events called, I think it's like Party with Bevy or Dinner with Bevy, where she invites a lot of these TV people and these luncheons, right? And you pay money to go to. And I wanted to go to one of those events, you know, so I can network and stuff like that. And so because I said what I said in those comments, or the question that I asked in his comments, I was literally on the phone waiting to get on her radio show, and the producer ended up telling me, it was like, hey, you know, unfortunately, we're not taking any more questions. And then, you know, I knew why she was telling me that, because Bevy didn't like my comments. So then I was like, well, you know, do you guys need extra help at the station or an intern or whatever? I hear Bevy Smith in the background tell the producer, hang up the phone. So when they were on the show talking about Jamie Lynn Spears having a podcast and Bevy Smith saying who isn't, I kind of like felt like that was shade towards me, because, you know, Bevy Smith, like, I actually went to school for this. And while you were working at Rolling Stone and whatever the other magazine she was working for as a marketing director, I actually went to school for this. You don't have a college degree, right? You just somehow landed into the entertainment industry because with your networking from working at Rolling Stone and working at Vibe magazine and going out with Tupac and all these famous celebs and, you know, also sleeping with them at the same time, allegedly, you end up, you know, getting a link to Andy Cohen, right? And you're on his little radio show with Sirius XM. So she had an easy route to being in the industry because she knew all of these people. She does deny this. She did an interview with Wendy Williams, and Wendy even said, well, but you've been in the industry. It shouldn't have been that hard for you to kind of like, know people, because you used to go out with Tupac and you used to go out with, all of these Tupac and stars, while you were at Vibe magazine and traveling the world with them and everything. So it shouldn't be that hard. And I agree with Wendy. It should not be hard, because people like me and Wendy, we don't have contacts. Like we had like, I'm still working on it, but Wendy had to work like hard to get into business. She didn't have a contact, right? It's like she had to work her way up. So anyways, when she brought up the podcast, she was like, who isn't, right? And it's like, I've been in the game for a long time. I've been trying to, be in this industry for a very long time, literally since I was 18 years old. So yeah, you don't have a college degree. I mean, I like you. Congratulations that you got the job that you got. But it's like, come on now. You got that job because you know people, right? So it's not hard to go from marketing director at Vibe magazine or Rolling Stone magazine to like being a radio TV personality, right? It's not really that hard. It's not. But anyways, she wants to come back in the industry as podcaster. She also has a Netflix show, and by the way, her show on Netflix is #1. I don't have Netflix, so I don't know anything about that show. But I did used to watch her growing up on Zoe 101. That used to be my favorite show. She used to be with Nickelodeon, and then she got pregnant, and then that show got canceled. So she literally messed up her career. They're from Kentwood, Louisiana, and the people who I've met that know this family, they don't say nice things about Britney Spears, or they don't say nice things about Jamie Lynn Spears. They actually call them WHITE, trash. That's what they call them. I mean, she got pregnant while she was on Zoe 101. I think she was 16. So it's like, come on now. And she lost her career, and she like literally messed up her face from all them surgeries. And so she wants to come on and do a podcast. She said her podcast is going to be off limits. She can talk about anything. And yeah, I mean, I just feel bad. It kind of sucks to be her, but at the same time, it's like, you can also say that she got her jobs because who her sister is, because her sister was linked with Disney, with Mickey Mouse Club and everything. And so it's like, it's kind of like when you have an older sibling who's successful in the industry and you also want to kowtow to the industry. It's not that hard to get in there. It's something like Miley Cyrus. And it's funny because a lot of people don't see her as a nepotist, but her father is Billy Racist, right? And he had a hit or two in the music. And it's like, okay, so it shouldn't be hard for her to be linked and get her foot into our Disney Channel, right? A lot of people don't usually use her because she's highly successful, but they can use her sister, Noah Cyrus, right? Who also appeared on TV shows. And we can go and say, well, she appeared on TV shows because her sister is highly famous. So I would hate to actually be born into a famous family, because like everything I do is always going to be linked to the person that started this first in the family, like a Meghan McCain and a John McCain, or Noah Cyrus, Miley Cyrus, or Britney Spears, Jamie Lynn Spears. And it's like, I would hate that. And so I would actually rather like go through the struggle, the obstacles, the hardships right now. So no one can even they can say anything they want about me. They can't look me in the eye and say, you got into this industry because of X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no. Like, I don't want nobody's, like, I literally don't even want no one's help. Like, I don't. I don't, a family member, no, because I don't need you saying, well, you got this job. Nope. Now, if I meet someone on my own behalf from watching me on YouTube or in life when we network, that's different, because it's like, that's what you got to do to that's part of the way you got to do your network. And someone may know somebody else. They may forward their resume to them. That's different. But like, I feel bad for her because it's like, she's linked to a highly successful person, and now she's being looked at as bad in the media because of how she allegedly treated her sister while she was in the conservatorship for like 13 years. And I knew she was a liar. Like literally when she came out and said, oh, I love Britney Spears and this and that, how she was wording her statements in that video, I'm like, girl, you full of shit. Like, come on now. You full of shit. So, but yeah, man, it's definitely tough. This business is tough. You know, y'all ask me why I like Wendy so much and why, you know, it's because it's like she don't care about the business. She don't. Like she don't like you really got to be careful with your words if you want to be invited to the party, to the parties and stuff like that. And then when I was watching these two, like Terrence J was very careful. He called Future, the rapper, a good father. Can't be a good father when you have 8 baby mamas, 8 different baby mamas, and 8 different kids. That's not a good father. It's because Future is linked to the parties that he go to. So you can't say nothing bad, because if you go to these parties, someone gonna come up to you like, hey, I heard what you said on Wendy. Why you said that? You know? And she's the same thing. She's at these parties too. You know? She's at these parties too. And so what I like what Wendy said is either you got to be for the industry or like for the people. And so I'm not for the industry at all. Now, you know, it's different. You could be nice and cordial, but when you got to do a story and then, but yet you go to the parties of the people when they're in the news and you got to talk about them, then it's like, okay, well, you got to pick and choose what life you want to live, right? And so like, I don't really care about these damn celebrities and I don't care about the parties anyway, because I'm not even a party person. And I want to keep it real in terms of how I feel. So I'm gonna say how I feel. And that's why I like Wendy, because that's what she does. But although she kind of went a little Hollywood when she got divorced, but you know, that was a little moment for her because she needed to get that out of her system because you know her husband was attached to her career for a time. So, but you know, she's over it now. She's over it. Because y'all do remember when she's called Kris Jenner that woman. And then when she got divorced, her and Kris Jenner called each other and stuff like, you know, all of that fake stuff. And so, you know, she had a little moment where she went a little Hollywood. But yeah, it just, like, I don't care about these damn people. Like, I don't. Like, these, like, I just, you know, I don't care. I don't care about these people. I don't, you know. So, yeah, you know, I wish Jamie Lynn Spears the best. But I knew she was being a liar about her sister and stuff. Like, it was pretty obvious. And then a girl from Zoe 101 came out. Jamie Lynn used to bully her on set and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't care. Which often makes me like miss actual journalism because coming into this business, I was like, you know what? I'm not a robot. I don't want to do journalism. I kind of want to just talk and state how I feel and report a story, but also give my opinion and stuff. So it's like, this is the reason why I didn't want to do news. But now with even journalists or people that call themselves journalists, now they want to have opinions, kind of just want me to just go back to like, you know what? Maybe I should do like just news, right? Maybe I should just do like reporting and be that robot or just talk about stories and stuff that had meaning to it, right? Instead of these damn celebrities, because it's like, you know, let me read y'all comments and see what y'all saying. All right. Oh, hey, Squill. Thank you. I appreciate it. Michelle isn't neutral. Neutral, I know you are. I mean, I don't want to kind of drag you in here, but no one on that show is qualified. I just told you that. No one on that show is qualified in politics, right? The only person is probably Anna Navarro because she worked in politics, but she's also a people say rhino, but I call her like she's also a Republican, fake Republican strategist, you know, a media strategist to fool people that she's a Republican. But she worked in the business. And Sarah Haynes has a degree in government, right? Joy Behar is a comedian. Whoopi Goldberg is an actress, right? Sunny Hostin is a lawyer, calls herself a journalist sometimes. And that's it, right? No one on that show is qualified. That show did not start political. That show started like pop culture. It started like The Real, you know, like pop culture. They didn't do politics. They didn't do it, right? So no one on that show is qualified, you know, to talk about politics. So, and this is why the world is not going to get to the way the world should be, because when you disagree with somebody, it's like they want to leave or they want to unsubscribe or whatever. So it's like, it's okay if someone disagrees with me, that's fine. Or if, it's okay to disagree. We live in a world where everyone agrees with one another. It's like it's not a real world. This is kind of like being controlled in a dictatorship, utopia, right? So, but yeah, let's see. I used to follow CNN, not anymore. I mean, it used to play in my house, but I really didn't even watch it that much growing up. But I used to watch like HLN with Nancy Grace and Jane Velez Mitchell. And, every now and then I used to, catch Joy Behar on her show. But I never really liked them because they always bashed my nationality. And so when the reports about, and I'm commenting on your comment, Baxter, when the reports came out about Ilhan Omar being like, ridiculed by Lauren Boebert and stuff, and CNN doing a report acting like they care. I'm like, come on now, really? Y'all, y'all have been talking badly about my people for a long time. So no, I really never watched them either growing up, and I really didn't care for them. So, you never do anything about Fox. You're right, though, about CNN's commentary, not news, because I don't watch Fox. I don't watch it. And CNN is in the news. So I don't watch Fox. I don't. This is why I had my moment where I kind of felt betrayed by the Democratic Party earlier on. And I was like, I don't want to be associated with them. So because it's like, I don't watch them, so I can't comment on them. I watched a network that a lot of people that lean Democrat actually said, this is news, but it's not. It's not news. So it's like, I know what Fox is, but I really didn't know much of what CNN was. But I sort of knew when it came to my people, but not on a level in the United States of America, right? So when you hear these stories, it is what it is. Let's see. But unfortunately, we live in a society where it's like, in order for you to gain subscribers or gain to a following, you have to be either A, a Democrat, or B, a Republican, and you just got to be you got to have an opposition to the opposite party, and I just don't like that. I don't. So thank you, Neutral, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let me see. What are you saying? Okay, that's just a robot. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much everything that I had to say. Let's see. Anybody want to come on and do a commentary? I'd appreciate it, but make sure it is PG-13. Let's see. Yeah, but I don't watch Fox. I also heard Nick Cannon wants Mariah Carey back, and it's like, this dude is another Kanye West. Just last week or about 2 weeks ago, Angela Yee was on your show, and you literally said you're no longer celibate. And now you want Mariah. First of all, Mariah Carey not going to take you back because she said no already. Second of all, Mariah Carey don't want anything to do with you or the rest of the woman that you shacked up. And I think she obviously made a mistake getting with Nick Cannon, right? And thirdly, like, you're a whole dog. You're like Future, dude. It's like you would think this man would have learned his lesson with his first child, ended up going to heaven, right? And he would stop doing what he's doing. But no, it's like he keeps doing what he's doing. It's like Kanye West. Kanye West something is wrong with that man. Like something is wrong mentally with that man. It's pretty evident. It's like one day you're bashing Kim, the next thing you're anti-Kim, and it's like, I don't even think he's in love with her. I think he's just in love with her beauty, right? I think he's just likes that she's a beautiful woman. I always told y'all this. I'm with Wendy on this one. Like, literally, Wendy has a montage of her talking about Kanye West and his friend, his Italian friend in Italy, the designer that's, LGBTQIA. I'm with Wendy on this one. And with Amber Rose, when she came out and said what Kanye likes to, with the little, like, he's not, I don't feel like he's like physically in love with her. I think he's just like in love with her beauty. Like how Diddy was in love with Cassie's beauty. I feel like that. There's a lot of DL men in Hollywood. And it's like, I don't feel like he's in love with her. I don't. Not in that way. I feel like he's infatuated, or I don't think he's I never thought he was straight. That's what I'm saying. Allegedly. So but then again, there's a lot of people in Hollywood that I can name names that's not in the media that I can tell you who's not, but that's not my call. Wendy done that job already, and she's over it, and I'm over it too. So it's like, yeah, man. Like, first of all, when you have two highly successful celebrities and you have a child, they're not going to be raised like a child. They're going to be raised as an accessory, as a obstacle, as a scapegoat for reasoning. I don't agree with her having a TikTok at 8 years old. If I had a child, they would not even have a cell phone. But now, since we live in times where you need a camera, they would probably have a Motorola with a camera, a flip phone with a camera. They would not have a new iPhone. And the only reason why they would have a phone is because, times change. It wasn't like 20 years ago where you could walk to school by yourself and not worried about being shacked or whatever. So it's different. That's the only reason why my child would have a phone. But you would not be on Facebook. You're not going to be on social media. You're not going to have an Instagram. You're not having all of that. You're not. An 8-year-old should not be on TikTok. And I agree with Candace Owens. You should be coloring. You should have a coloring book. That's what you should have at 8 years old. Not to be on TikTok. And I don't care. Like, I don't care if she is supposedly monitoring her TikTok. I don't care if her username. I don't care if it's called Kim and North. No, she should not be on social media. One thing I liked about Michael Jackson is when he was alive, he used to always put a blanket over his kids. Like, he used to always keep their identity hidden. That's one thing I liked, despite all the allegations against him. I actually like the fact that he protected his kids, right? And I don't feel like kids should be posted on Instagram. I try not to even if their faces are plastered on Instagram or publicly out there. I try not to show, even if I have to blur it out. I try not to do that on it because I just I'm old school like that. Like, I don't feel like kids should have social media. I don't think they should be on Instagram or on Twitter, showing their face. I just don't agree with that. I don't. I don't understand how when someone has a newborn baby that's a celebrity, you take their picture and you post it on a CNN like Anderson Cooper, or like another one that's like, what's his name? Van Jones. Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And I see Van Jones did a Tyler Perry, right? Van Jones had a baby with his friend, like Tyler Perry announced he had a divorce. We didn't even know you got divorced. Like, a lot of people didn't even know you were married to your beard, allegedly. But yeah, so it's like, this is why I miss Wendy, because Wendy made the, she made implication that Van Jones is how you doing one time on her show. And I'm like, this is what I miss about Wendy, because she just don't give a damn. Like, a lot of people thought him and Kim Kardashian was dating. I'm like, no, she ain't dating. Come on. This is why I miss Wendy, because she makes all of those shady remarks on her show. Van Jones called his made a friendship with a woman to have a baby with her. What they call it, a conscious relationship or something. I'm like, dude, come on now. Read between the lines, people. Read between the lines of the Tyler Perrys and the other people, in the industry. Read between the lines. So this is why I feel bad for women, and I'm here for women. It's like, nowadays, you don't have to worry about a man getting with a side chick. You also got to worry about the side dude, right? And with that being said, that's all I'm going to say. You are so right. The View used to be pop culture, never politics. No, it was never about politics. They started off of pop culture. Even Brian Tita did an interview, I think, with Whoopi, and they talked about it. They're like, a lot of people think you guys, like, view you guys as pundits or like as experts in politics and take your words seriously when you guys literally like aren't experts. They're not experts. They're not. They just have an opinion, just like you and I. Even Joy Behar said the other day, like, she was talking about the Supreme Court. So like, a lot of people were mad, about us talking about the Supreme Court, saying we don't have experts. Joy Behar was like, I read a newspaper and I form an opinion. Like, I'm not an expert. And no, they're not. They're not experts. That's what the show is. So, but yeah, thank you, Square, for the super chat. But let me see. All right, so I've been highlighting Black History Month, on my community tab page. I've been trying to do it for 30 days, and I don't know if anybody saw today's highlight. It was about Thomas Jennings. He was the first African American to receive a patent in the United States of America. So I've just been highlighting different people like Ruby Bridges, and just a lot of people. I've just been learning a lot from different inventors or different ground breakers in the in Black history and stuff like that. And it's interesting. But also what I learned about that is history is complex. And a lot of these, like, sometimes you got to double back and vet other sources because, some of these sources, they say this is the first African-American that did this. And other sources say, well, this is one of the first African-Americans. Like with Ruby Bridges, or for example, with Rosa Parks, they're like, she was the woman that was known for not getting up, but literally, like, she wasn't the first woman. There were other people that did that as well, but it wasn't publicly known, and they just paid a fine, and it was hush hush. A lot of these sources you got to vet, because a lot of these sources say, well, this is the first person. This is like Madam C.J. Walker, right? They're like, well, she's the first African American to be placed in the Guinness records when she was one of the first. She wasn't the first, and she actually stole an ingredient from another Black woman to make her. So, and I posted that on one of my community pages, and a lot of people are like, are you shading her? I'm like, no, I'm not shading her. I'm being honest. And I know Netflix did a documentary on it, and Octavia Spencer, I believe, played Madam C.J. Walker, but Netflix actually sort of exaggerated the movie, right? So it's like, I was not shading her. I was actually posting what she's known for and what she did to be a millionaire, right? You stole someone else's idea to make a hair comb or to make hair straightened for African-American people, and you got rich off of that, right? And it's like, so, but nowadays you go to jail for that, right? But, thank you, Square. But yeah, with that being said, y'all, give me a thumbs up if you haven't on this video. I need at least 100 thumbs up. And hopefully The View get their act together and find an actual conservative. Wendy Williams comes back on her show, and a lot of people are open-minded if someone disagrees with them, and they won't leave just because they disagree, okay? That being said, deuces. Yay!